Hey, what's up, YouTube? So yesterday on stream we did a lot of gambling and trying to craft a pair of boots, and I also did a couple of Aisling crafts to try to get or try to sell it, and I was able to set up the Betrayal board a few times, and I just wanted to tell everyone or share my knowledge of how the Betrayal works, what's actually the good masters and where to put them, and how to spawn Catarina as fast as possible so you can get as much profit from Betrayal as possible. I think Betrayal is pretty hit or miss, but if you have the June missions, for instance, here saved up over time, then you'll be able to make a good amount of money. And it's pretty easy to get Aisling in most cases into research at level 3, but there's some scenarios where you probably just want to finish Catarina board as soon as possible so that you can move on and have a new shot at getting Aisling where you want her to be. So I also spent a lot of time last stream crafting this pair of boots, and this is the state that it's in right now. So I'm going to go over how to exactly make the pair and what you need to do and how much it costs and if you should just buy one pre-made. And yeah, let's start by going into the gear overview and seeing what pieces I actually changed since last stream, and let's get into it. So overall, most of my gear stayed relatively the same, I think. I don't think I bought any upgrades since yesterday. So we still have the same Nebulas, same helm, same Prism Guardian. Amulet is still the same. Maybe one day I'll use Aisling on this to try to get the projectile speed, projectile damage, but this would need another suffix, so I would have to exalt some random suffix on there. Or you could really, if you really wanted to, you could do suffixes cannot be changed and do reroll crit to get crit chance on it. But that seems like a bad idea since the amulet is relatively cheap and you could probably just spam scorns to get a better roll. We're still trying to buy the Call of the Brotherhood, and the Shavs you probably will not get a +4 until really late. The +4 is like approximately 1 meter currently. And then we have a Call of the Brotherhood with the aura on. Still have the Asenath's Gentle Touch. Now when we switch over to the boots, we will probably have to find another way to get pierced somehow. So we're gonna talk about that and see how we can get pierced because we no longer will have the 5 additional pierce. And I think losing phasing will actually be a pretty big deal. But I didn't really notice it last league when I played without these boots and didn't have phasing on a flask even, and it was fine I think. And then we still have this Torrent Reclamation. I might try to get a move speed one. I have one live search right now, but none has popped up at a decent price. And the flask will still be the same. You still have the Quicksilver, Diamond Flask, Cinder Swallow, Bottle Faith, and Aziri's Promise. Now, one of the main things is that we actually don't have shock immunity, so if you could get it on a Watcher's Eye, it's actually pretty useful because a lot of times you die, it's going to be because you got shocked. Or you could try to stack these implicits on the clusters to try to get a 10% chance to avoid shock and get it on Abyss Jewel too. But that takes a while. Trying to get like any of these things stacked up, whether it's like cannot chance to avoid stun, like this one has, if you wanted to stack 10 of these, you would be stun immune, but it's probably very hard to farm it all, especially with how rare the harvest craft stuffs are. But you can guarantee harvest in every map, so that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, basically the gear is mostly the same. Oh, I think I added another 35% cluster. So I added this one in first amount, 35% chaos res and cold res, and I did this because it allowed me to get more chaos res. So you can see here that I'm at negative 22%, and I actually have no chaos res on any piece of my gear, and it's purely just from these clusters. So I have one, two, I think there's 2 and 3 clusters right now that have chaos res on it, and that's literally all my chaos res is coming from those clusters. So I could pretty much get the positive chaos res if I aug chaos onto this jewel, and then this one can also be auged chaos since it has an open suffix. So that's pretty much the easiest way to get chaos res is through using these cluster jewels with chaos res as a suffix. Now we're gonna go talk about the betrayal board and how to farm it and how to maximize your profit. So the whole point of farming the betrayal board is to get Aisling into research at level 3. And once you're at Aisling is research at level 3, she does not need to be the leader. You run the Catarina safe house. And when you run the Catarina safe house, it makes it so that you get the reward for every single person on your board that's in the safe house at +1 level. So the big change for this league is that this didn't exist before. and there's no +4 level reward. So that means some masters has a level 4 reward that they didn't have before, and other masters level 3 rewards from previously is now level 4. So Aisling did not have this reward before. So, well, I don't know if she had it before, but now it's level 4. So basically, you run Aisling. So she's level 3 in research. She does not need to be the leader. And once you run it, you can be able to add a veiled mod onto an item. And the veiled mod is extremely powerful because there's a lot of good mods you can get. Like you can almost guarantee move speed on a pair of boots. So Aisling level 3 in research is what you need. So now we can look over some of the good masters. So these are all of the masters in the syndicate, and I can quickly go over go over all of them real fast. So Aisling research, so you can see add veiled mod at rank 4, and this is the most important one. So you want to put Aisling always in research, and generally for the other masters, you can follow the rule that you always want to put them in intervention for scarabs. So Chimeria, you want sulfide scarabs. In Elrion, you want reliquary scarabs. For Vicious, you want divination scarabs. Guff is kind of useless to some random craft. Haku ambush scarabs is actually worth quite a bit because people want to do monstrous treasure. Hillock, you could probably do like flask quality or armor quality or weapon quality and sell it on TFT Discord. It that fled, you can use it in research to upgrade breachstones if you get it as the leader. Or level 3, I think you can upgrade 2 pure breachstones, so you will make probably around almost 1 exalt from that, or close to it. So that's pretty good to keep in mind. Put it in research. Janice, I guess Piranda scarabs are better than nothing. And Jorgen, bestiary scarabs, they're not really that expensive, but it's okay. Elder scarabs are good. Leo, you probably want to put it in research. You can probably sell this for like 50 to 60 chaos on the TFT Discord. Riker, you want blight scarabs. They're actually worth quite a bit because you can put it into your map and guarantee a blight encounter and do it in Lyra Ardain and get blight maps pretty consistently. Tora, Harbinger scarabs are worth a good amount too. Vegan, Legion scarabs are actually really big money. I think a winged Legion scarab is like an insane amount, like 60 chaos last time I got one from here. And Varici, you want to try to put it in research if possible so you can add white sockets to your gear. Now, obviously, it's pretty hard to always put them all in the right place because it might take you a lot of missions to do that. But basically, the way I get that Betrayal works is that you just want to have the most important thing is to put Aisling in research. Now, if Aisling isn't one of these like safe houses, because when you start off the safe house, these things are all hidden, right? So you don't know who the leader is. So if you don't see Aisling on the board after you run a few missions, then you can either assume that Aisling is as a leader hidden, or Aisling is not on the board. And if she's not on the board, you probably just want to remove one of the people because every time you do Catarina, your board will completely reset, which means that right now there's only 14 members and there's 17 members total. So there's just going to be 3 members that aren't on the board. And then it kind of becomes RNG because you will have to choose one to remove and then it'll be the new one to come in. And that new one will have a 1 in 3 chance to be Aisling. So right now the board is screwed up for me, at least for Aisling. So I just want to do this ASAP and get it out of the way. So that's why I have the safe house up. Now I should also probably run a few more missions, right? Because Vegan and Varici are level 1. So if I level them up to 3, which should only take a few missions because they're already in the right place, then it will be really fast and it's pretty much guaranteed to be a good amount of money. So probably run a few more missions to finish that off. Now, if you're wondering like how do you actually move the people around if they're in the wrong place, so the easiest way is to just take them out of the safe house so you can interrogate them and they lose a level. So you see the stars. So once they're out of this level, the game will try to assign someone who's not in the safe house to one of them. So when the safe house shows up with one of the people in there, your person that's not in a safe house can randomly show up. So that's how you can actually move them over, and they might give you an option to do it. And this is probably the easiest way to move someone out. I've tried to like just RNG it because sometimes you can show up if you have a connection to someone. So you see these green lines. These green lines mean that they're allied to someone, and that means that so every time you run a safe house, one person will be chosen to show up, and then they have a chance to show up the other people if they have a green line attached to it if they're in another safe house. So if this person, for instance, was showing up because of fortification, ran into a fortification encounter, then Varici would have a chance to show up, and I guess Riker would have a chance to show up, and that means Riker would have a chance to move into fortification every time I ran into a fortification encounter. So that's the easiest way. Now Riker would probably also be able to move into Elrion because he's not assigned to a safe house. So now when I run intervention encounter, I might run Riker into Vegan or Elrion or Janice, and that will allow me to put Riker into the intervention easily. So you can see that doing the betrayal has some element of RNG. But once you get someone in a safe house, you can pretty reliably get him to level 3 pretty fast because he'll be the only one to show up, or he'll be showing up sooner or later. So that's why for like research in the beginning, I think it's very important to not have that many members in it so that Aisling has the highest amount of chance to show up. So if Aisling is the only person or only one of 2 people in the safe house right here, then every time you run research, she is very likely to show up. So you want to put all of the bad members into transportation and fortification. So that's mainly like, let's see who was like kind of useless. So like Guff is pretty useless, and Jorgen with the Bestiary Scarabs is not that useful. Even Elder Scarabs is not worth that much. So you want to put those people into here, and then you want to put the good people all into intervention. So you want to stack intervention, and you want to have research have only pretty much Aisling and Varici and It That Fled, if possible. But mainly you should concentrate on getting Aisling in there. Once you get Aisling in there, it is extremely easy to get her to level 3 after a few missions. So I hope that helped everyone understand exactly how it works. Now I'm going to talk about quickly the atlas that you do this, how to farm this stuff. So basically, I use Hamlet, and I have the Hamlet Watchstones. So these Hamlet Watchstones are masters encountered have a chance to be June. I don't think this matters so much because it's still pretty rare to get a June encounter even with these. But you get a lot of master missions that have a chance to be June because of these 4 Watchstones I have. Now my watchstones are all tier 2, so I should probably roll them to tier 1, but I just haven't gotten lucky enough. And then I also have this thing that gives an additional chance to grant an Atlas mission on completion. And also, the important thing is this node here. Areas have 10% chance to grant an additional June mission on completion. And then this one, completing maps grants 10 intelligence to a random Immortal Syndicate safe house. That means every time you complete a mission, any safe house has a chance to get 10%. So like one safe house will randomly get 10%. So like I could technically do a map in Hayward Hamlet, and then Haku will get 10%, and then this research safe house will be ready to run. So basically you're farming June missions and you're farming intelligence. So this is the way you farm the June missions in the Hayward Hamlet. And then once you have the missions and you want to actually level up the people in this Betrayal board, you go to here. So this node here says Immortal Syndicate members executed in areas have 100% chance to gain an additional rank. That means as soon as you execute them in the board, so usually you execute to give them +1 rank, they'll go from +1 to +3 immediately. So that means you lower the amount of missions you actually need to run to get them to +3. So you just do it one time, and then Varici will be +3. You run to Vegan one time, and he has the option to level him up. He'll become +3 immediately. So that's actually very, very useful for trying to level up Aisling or the other members you need to +3. But overall, most important thing is to level up the members to +3. So after you are able to, you run the Catarina and then you want to sell it. You go into here, services, want to sell, and you put in Aisling. I don't know how much it is currently. You can see you can sell the Hillock 30% quality. This is the TFT Discord. So you can sell Hillock 30% quality pretty easily. Weapon 30% quality, armor 30% quality. You can see T4 Aisling is 3 exalts, right? So it's like 3 exalts pretty easily guaranteed every time you do it. And you can do these super fast if you had June missions saved up already. And also when you run Catarina, you go to your board here, you click Catarina, the safe house, it'll open up the portals. When you run Catarina, you have a chance to get a flask, which is worth like 1.5 to 2x depending on what you unveil the Cinder Swallow urn. And then you also have a chance to get a cane that has like a triple unveiled that's also worth around like I think like 0.8x probably now, or 0.5x. So there's plenty of stuff to get, and every time you run a safe house, you can get a Paradoxica. And a Paradoxica is worth like I think 7 exalts with unveiled, without it being veiled. So it's definitely worth a lot of money. And it's pretty good profit overall, and I just find it to be like interesting since every time you do it, it's a little different. And getting Aisling where you want it to be is kind of fun. But basically, it's just one of the money making methods I've been doing for the past few days, and I just wanted to share it since a lot of people asked me on stream about how to do the Betrayal board. So now we're gonna go over quickly about the pair of boots I made and how it was done. So this pair of boots is something that took me a lot of Maven orbs to do. So basically, this pair of boots is made with using Awaken orbing together, a Maven orbed elevated Tailwind, and an elevated Onslaught together. So you can see there's quite a few pair of boots, and I usually run around like 26 exalts for these two mods together, like 20ish X. So we want to do it on a Sork boots pair. So here we have, if once you Maven orb the two things, you can Awaken orb together, and hopefully you'll get a free suffix. If you don't get a free suffix, then you're pretty much stuck with the suffix that you get. But let's say you have a free suffix, you will want to go to use the bench, the prefixes, and craft on suffixes cannot be changed. And once you craft on suffixes cannot be changed, you want to use a harvest craft, which you can farm yourself, and you can just do reroll with chaos more likely. And here you have a small chance to hit chaos res. So yeah, this person got 6 to 10% chaos res. And that's exactly what I did for my pair of boots. I did suffixes cannot be changed, reforged chaos, but I got 19% chaos res. Now this isn't guaranteed because there's other mods that you can hit for the suffix, like chance to avoid poison and bleeding, which actually has a chaos tag. So now at this point you have another open suffix, right? So if you don't have the open suffix, you will have to use reforged while keeping suffixes to try to reroll it until there's an open suffix. But if you have an open suffix, then you want to recraft with the bench. Suffixes cannot be changed, and do reforge here, reroll with crit. Now when you reroll with crit, you're guaranteed to have elusive. Now this pair is kind of messed up, so we'll have to go again. And once you have the suffixes, it's pretty much over. So you just have to go to the TFT diff to score by reforges, keep suffix, get another open one you craft on the bench. Do suffixes cannot be changed, and reforge as crit more likely. And now we have an open prefix, and now you just buy an Aisling craft. The whole thing we were talking about previously adds a chance. Oh, it's a 15% chance to add a second veiled mod. So now you add on this, you have a veiled prefix. Let's see what you unveil. And nice, we got 3 movement speed things, so you can choose. So it's very likely that you'll get a movement speed. You probably won't be able to choose exactly what you want. Cannot be chilled is actually really good for us. So that's pretty much how you make the pair of boots. So right now we're at this step here, and yeah, and so now I pretty much just need to get an Aisling unveil and then craft on something after I get the move speed. So hopefully I get the move speed for the unveil. It's actually, I think, a very high chance to get the move speed, but you never know. And I think for the bench, I probably craft on cannot be frozen for my pair of boots if I have an open slot after unveiling, and that allows us to drop the Watcher's Eye and maybe get a triple damage Watcher's Eye. So that's what I was thinking about doing, or I could just craft on percent ES for more ES overall. Now this pair of boots is actually very close to what it used to be like. The only thing is we don't have Pierce anymore, so that means we will have to find Pierce another way. So we probably will have to use Anomalous Spark for +2 Pierce. It's an alternate quality of Spark, meaning we lose like 20% prod speed. But since I'm running faster prod, it should not be too big of an issue at the moment. And that means you have no more +2 level of auras, so I will probably have to move my auras over to my gloves, or I will have to one day reach 375% to get the breakpoint. Because either I move the auras over to my glove, I reach 375%, so I no longer need level 23 purity to get 400%. But you probably don't need 375% because arrogance gives you 24% effect, so it probably gives you 25% with 23 quality, which means that we only need 350%. So that's actually pretty important. Or we could try to Aisling unveil our helm and get +2 auras. Now this is probably the best method of doing it, but getting 350% aura effectiveness is also very useful. So those are the couple of methods we can do to address that, how we don't have +2 auras on the boots anymore, and how we'll have to actually try to get Pierce, which is through a Pierce gem and maybe a Pierce jewel. And I think 2 or 3 Pierce is enough to play with, so that should be good enough. Hopefully that helps you out in learning how to craft the boots. It's a pretty RNG process, so if you could buy it for like under 20x, I'd probably recommend it, because it probably costs around that much to craft overall. Well, I know this video is getting kind of long because the Betrayal explanation was very long, so I just wanted to show some quick highlights real fast. So yesterday I tried doing a Trial Master with Treacherous Auras, and let's just say it was a disaster, so I just wanted to show the clip. It's actually kind of funny. I literally instantly died. So if anyone's wondering, like they have the Inscribed Ultimatums, if they can do Treacherous Auras, the answer is probably you shouldn't do it if it's a Inscribed Ultimatum you actually care about. You should probably just try to buy a carry if there's a service available. And I also wanted to show like a few of the crafting highlights from yesterday of making the boots, because it was a pretty fun journey. We were able to gamble our channel points and try to see if I would actually hit the Maven Orb or if I would hit the Chaos Res.
Your victories will not
I mean, my build is not that tanky. Let's see how this goes.
My master
see?
is done.
You see how bad it is for Treacherous Auras? That's how bad Treacherous Auras is. Wait, I just lost 40 regrets to show you guys that. Oh my goodness. So I hope, I mean at this point I can't really lose that much money because this pair of boots is worth a lot, so. Did anyone see it? Oh no. I think it got it. Yes, I got it. I saw a long line of text, so it has to be. Yeah. I guess you guys won. Oh, nice. Yeah, I got it finally. I mean, this was a cheating one though, because I couldn't have lost money because, I mean, at this point it's fine. I mean, there's no. Alright, it's time to awaken orb this thing. Wow. Well, that's actually pretty lucky. It didn't get a suffix. What? It's probably like one of the best outcomes you could hope for. Wait.
Alright, let me know when you're gonna do it.
Well, I'm gonna do it right now. Redeemer, Hunter. So I should do more likely, right? Okay, here we go. It's good. Yes wins again. It's definitely not the worst, not the best, but. So I hope everyone enjoyed the clips. The Trial Master clip is just insane. I don't know how I died so fast, but I guess my auras must be really strong at least. But anyhow, I hope everyone learned a lot in this video. The Betrayal is kind of hard to understand, so I hope that gives you a general baseline. So every time you do Betrayal, try to get Aisling level 3 in research. Do not have her as a leader, because a leader can actually never show up in the safe house. I forgot to mention that. It's pretty important. So do not make Aisling the leader if she's not level 3. And she does not need to be the leader in order to get the level 4 craft. And you actually gain nothing from Aisling being level 3 as leader. So she can just be not a leader. And then I hope the boots will try to give you like something to work towards. The boots are a pretty fun item to craft. It's pretty much the exact same process as harvest crafting, except we can't get Pierce anymore because we don't have Aug Influence. So I stream every day on Twitch, and I'll probably be finishing off the boots today on stream. And I will be answering any questions. I can do pod reviews and stuff like that, and look over your gear. And if you have any questions about how to gear out the character, and be sure to like and subscribe if you like the video. And next time, I'll see you next time, and hopefully you find more Exalts and mirrors than I do. And good luck, and thanks for watching.